반갑습니다. 오늘 영상은 에어비앤비를 좀 더 프로처럼 할 수 있는 가격 전략에 대한 방법입니다. 베트남 직원한테 교육하는 영상을 만들었어요. 그래서 이번 영상은 영어로 되어 있으니까 한글 자막을 꼭 참고하세요. 영어로 되어 있습니다.
Hello everyone. Last time we covered Vietnam temporary residence permit registration procedures and passport photo automation. If you have any difficulties, please feel free to contact me. Today, let's talk about Airbnb's pricing strategy. I am very thankful that the company has been able to grow. Let me take a look at the Airbnb screen. If you look at the Airbnb screen, in the case of Vietnam, March and July are the peak season. But it's a weekday in February. 300,000 won in Korean money. 300,000 won on the third weekday of July. Even though July is the peak season, the price is the same as September's off-season. This is the wrong pricing strategy. But now the condition of the accommodation is very good, but there are a few regrets about the pricing strategy. So we have an opportunity because the average person doesn't have a pricing strategy. But because we are professionals, we must do a pricing strategy. Now this screen is Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. Wednesday peak in March, peak in July, peak in December. That's why what we couldn't earn in September, October, or November, we now have to earn during peak season. Therefore, we need to understand the demand for accommodation where we operate. This graph is a data analysis of Vietnam market demand. Simply put, when demand is high, prices are raised, and when demand is low, prices are lowered. The number we need to remember is 10. To explain more, when the reservation rate is more than 70%, the price is low. When the reservation rate is less than 70%, the price. You can see that it is high, so you have not made a reservation a little. Professionals in the lodging industry always set prices to match the 70% booking rate. So, in order to be like a professional, we have to set prices like this. Also, Airbnb bookings now vary depending on the local seasonal accommodation type, but the common pattern is as follows. In the case of hostels in the city center, reservations are often made a week or two in advance. There are a lot of short-term business travelers who book in a hurry. In the case of resorts, many bookings from 61 in advance. Whether you are a family or long-term traveler, plan ahead. Most of our homes are vacationers, so we should take this into account. In high season, reservations are often made from March to 6 months in advance. That's why you have to raise the price. There are many people who usually raise prices at Christmas or something like this, but that's a very wrong idea. Obviously, there is a high season or low season now. In addition, in the off-season, same-day reservations are high within a week. If the price is cheap, improvise. Make a reservation. So it looks like a city center hostel. So in the case of Seoul, where I live, it's like this on the left screen, and in the case of Vietnam, it's like this on the right screen. That's why pricing strategies vary from country to country. Demand is different. When is the peak season and when is the off season? I just explained the concept. And from now on, I will tell you some of these things that can be applied in practice. You have to remember this screen now, but I think 30 days is the most important thing now. Of course, it's good to remember everything. What is this about? From now until the 15th, you must have a reservation rate of 80%. 50% reservation rate until 30 days from now, 30% reservation rate until 60 days from now. From now until 90 days, we must strive to achieve a reservation rate of 15%. Making an effort means setting a price. And as I said before here, this standard of 50% reservations for 1 month starting today is the most important thing. So please remember, let me take a look at this now. Airbnb accommodation. If you book now from today, if you book from today to February 11, will you find 50% off for 30 days? I can't find anything. This is expensive. Looking for 80% in 15 days. This one is really expensive, so let's take a look at ours now. If you take a look at ours, it's good that the reservation rate is so high in the case of our accommodation. From February 10th to March 11th, all reservations were filled except for 3 days. So the reservation rate is now 90%, which means that the price is cheap now. This is a bit contradictory. People should not be allowed to make reservations because it is expensive. In order to match the reservation rate of 70%, I repeat, the reservation rate as of 30 days was more than 50%. That's why the current reservation rate is 90 francs for 30 days, which is too much. Now we have to respond to customer demand and raise prices. In this way, we can maximize profits. How to help set this price? Well, the first is Price Lab and the second is Beyond Pricing. These two things are also not perfect, so be sure to remember what I explained today. In the next video, we will use price automation tools to upgrade your pricing strategy. You had a hard time listening to the video.
에어비앤비 호스트에 관련된 내용으로 가장 먼저 소식과 혜택을 받고 싶으신 분들은 에어비앤비 사업이라는 댓글을 남겨주세요. 지금까지 영상 시청해주셔서 감사합니다.